Back in the early 2000s, you wanted to game, but you're on a tight budget, so you walk into a computer store and you most likely would have walked back out with one of these, an ATI Radeon 9200 SE. Got a brand new one in the box here, so let's crack it open and see what your experience would have been like. Welcome to Retrobus, my name is Bill. You know, if you had a budget gaming PC in the 2000s, most likely you had one of these in it. This or a GeForce MX. You know, I was the same. I had a GeForce MX, didn't have the full GeForce or Ultra. I couldn't afford it. But you know, back when NVIDIA and ATI were competing for your AGP slot, the budget was important. You know, they really started spreading it out and trying to address the budget sector as well as that upper top performance sector. Okay, so let's look at some technical specifications. So the card is, again, as mentioned, 9200 SE from ATI. It uses a 200 MHz core with 166 MHz DDR, which effectively makes it 333. The model I have is the 128 meg model. It came in 128 or 64. It uses a 64-bit bus, which is a little bit cut back. The higher-end cards used a full 128-bit bus, so it's just a wider channel for that memory to communicate more effectively with that core. And connecting to the motherboard, it uses an AGP 8X interface. So if we look at ATI's lineup in 2003, at the top we have the 9700, 9800 series, which were awesome. Then there was the mid-range, 9500, 9600, and there was the low end, which was the 9200s. And the 9200 SE was the bottom of the bottom. Clearly this was not a performance card, it was more of a budget upgrade, probably targeted more for replacing integrated graphics rather than really maxing out games. It was really focused on one thing, making games accessible for people on a real budget. So this card was released in 2003 and it's been sitting in a box ever since, waiting to be used. I got this as a part of a marketplace find on Facebook Marketplace. It was just in a box in amongst other things, and the person just never used it. You know, they probably had a faster, better card. I actually had two of them, believe it or not, so I ended up grabbing both, got it for a good price. This one is 64 meg version, this one is the 128 meg version. This one even still has the sealed sticker on the box. You can have a look at that. So yeah, never been opened. These are nice, new old stock. So all I'll do is we'll go with the 128 meg version to give it a good chance of impressing us, hopefully. So see what it was like to game, you know, on a bit more of a budget. So we'll get that open, have a look at what was inside, what the experience was like buying this card in 2003. So the 9200 SC was widely available, very cheap and often quite criticized, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Look at the box, you know, Tom's Hardware says it's pretty good. Best of Tom's 2003. And 2002, I don't know, it was released in 2003, so I'm not sure how it won the 2002 award, but all good. 128 meg DDR, 3-year warranty. Well, we're well beyond that. So let's look at the back, get some marketing and propaganda. So it does have a TV out as well, pretty cool. Early video conferencing, game face. So you basically had your little camera on the bottom while you played with your friends, point-to-point video conferencing functions, and some sort of security software. Sure. Yeah, security surveillance software. I have no idea how that works. So yeah, you know, here's a sales pitch, quad putt, pixel power, high performance 3D, redefining realism. Very nice. So let's get it open. Oh, let's get the contents out. Oh, there's our graphics card. Okay, TV out. Very cool. Our driver disc. Very important. Okay, installation guide. Go through each operating system and install it in each one by the look of it. What is this? Okay, so it just goes through the key features. DVI and TV. Ooh, I'm not sure if this one has DVI. It doesn't mention it in the box, but we're going to find out, I guess. And what's this? A graphics software reference. Okay, so this shows... So this talks about the other software that comes on the disc, like Game Face, which seems to be some sort of video conferencing software. As you play games with your friends, you can have your faces up on the screen as well, picture in picture. No doubt there's some sort of DVD playback software in there. There always is. Always get a copy of WinDVD or something. Put that. Okay, let's have a look at the card. Very nice. Okay, orange PCB, excellent condition. Okay, that does have DVI. Very nice. Focus, please. Okay, so we've got DVI, TV out, and VGA. Very good. Very cool. The caps all look very good. Passive heatsink. yeah, it's just immaculate condition. Look at it, it's brand new. Not a speck of dust on there. Yeah, very cool. I used to have the Asus GeForce MXs, and they were yellow. It's the first time I'm seeing an orange PCB. Obviously, ATI generally is associated with red, but nice to see something different. Very cool. All right, let's get a system and get this plugged in. Okay, for a test system, we've got a Pentium 4 3 GHz here with 2 GB of RAM. So we'll get that in there and get this fired up. Okay, yeah, so we've got a Pentium 4 3 GHz, 2 gigs of RAM. Sound Blaster, auto user, yes. Nice. And now, 9200 SE. Let's go. All right, so everything's plugged in. Motherboard lights on, which is good. First time this thing's been powered on. All right, fan spinning, good sign. Oh, it doesn't sound good, does it? One of those fans. All right. No, I'm not getting a signal. All right, let's stop it and have a look what the hell's going on. Okay, so I don't know what the problem is. This case is horrible. I've forgotten the bad experiences I had with this. It's actually got a really bad power switch here. This button, it actually gets stuck in there. So once you press it in, it stays pressed in and it just keeps resetting the machine and won't actually power up properly. So anyway, I'll deal with that later. What I've done is I've jerry-rigged, desperate times, desperate measures, jerry-rigged an external switch. So I'll just flick it on from here and hopefully that will solve our problem. Okay, let's see. Oh my God, that noise is horrible. What the hell is that fan? Okay, signal. Yes. All right. What's it done? Just, okay, we had a signal for a second, but then it beeped again, so it's just reset itself. Perhaps we're not through the woods just yet, eh? All right, let's see what the hell's going on. Yes, I'm not sure what that fan, there's loud fan noise. I don't think it's the CPU, I think it might be the power supply fan, but yeah, it does not sound happy. But you know, what on earth is this? Look at this dust, and I realized it's actually from this sticker. Oh my God, from the IDE cable. I've never seen this before. Oh, retro computers are always full of surprises, aren't they? Yeah. Oh my God. All right, I'll try and get a vacuum or something, clean that up and just try and go again. Okay, so I've got that flaky cable out of there. I'll get rid of that. I've got it on its back. Take 3. Let's see what happens this time. Hopefully, we're getting closer. I'm getting closer. Okay. Doesn't seem to be making that heavy fan noise. Okay, I got a signal. Let's see if we can go to BIOS. Okay, 1.5 gig RAM, Pentium 4 3 GHz. This is good. Yeah, look, it's definitely the power supply. That power supply. Then that video card is just flashing. This is not looking good, is it? Oh, no, not looking good at all. Well, what on earth is going on? So I've got it plugged into the DVI. I'll try plugging into the VGA. See if it likes it better. Don't know. All right, let's turn you off. Okay, this is not how I envisioned this video was going to go. But we roll with the punches. Got a new power supply in there. I've plugged it into the VGA output rather than the DVI. See if it makes a difference. Let's see how we go. Blue, give me a signal. Okay, good. VGA. Okay, it's not flashing like last time. That's always good. Hard drive's been detected. Excellent. Okay, yep. Right, let's boot. I'm pretty sure I've got Windows XP on that hard drive, so let's see if we can boot up to operating system and see if we can get some stability out of this card. Okay, this is looking much better than the rough start we had. Okay, yes. Okay, so we found the 9200 SE, pretty good. I think, don't do that, good. I think this has NVIDIA drivers on it, so I'll uninstall those and get the ATI drivers onto it. So I'll use the original CD that came with it. You know, we want the full experience of what it was like. Yeah, so I was feeling pretty optimistic, so I figured I'd give the DVI another crack. Oh wow. Oh. What is wrong with you, my son? What are you doing? So yeah, it looks like just cannot get signal out of that DVI port for some reason. So I'm not sure. We'll continue with VGA. Okay, troubles don't stop, unfortunately. So I've installed all the drivers. Something's happening. As soon as I start a game and it tries to trigger anything 3D, it restarts the whole computer. Yeah, check it out. Let's give Far Cry a crack. So I've tried this with CS, tried this with a couple of games. There we go. Machine just shuts off and restarts itself. I've never seen anything like this. So, you know, it's either going to be the machine, but I've used this machine before, it was fine, or it's the video card. But I'm going to give the video card another chance. I'm going to try it on a different system, see if it still presents problems. Otherwise, this new old stock, not good. Not good at all. Okay, I can't believe it. I actually managed to get this thing working. You know, I figured last chance saloon, what if it's the drivers? You know, I have no idea what version was on this disc. So I went onto the ATI website, I got the latest version and installed them, and it's all on, the games are firing up, it's all working. This video was going off the rails, but now we're back on track. All right, let's get to it. Okay, let's start with a good old benchmark, 3D Mark 2001. So this card is, again, made in 2003. So this benchmark is 2 years before it. So you would expect it to be, you know, not too bad. So we'll start off with the car chase, and the frame rate, yeah, it looks, you know, looks pretty much what you'd expect it. It's not terrible, but it's not outstanding either. It's, you know, those 60s are pretty good. So yeah, it's nothing special, nothing outstanding, but nothing absolutely terrible either. Really, what the kids call it these days, mid. Yeah, something like that. Moving on to the next test, Grey Gothica. It's pretty much the same. Very similar frame rates to the car chase, really. All acceptable, looking decent enough. And it's the same story for the lobby as well. We're getting some pretty good, decent frame rates here. You know, it makes the card almost look respectable, actually. But, you know, it's when we hit nature that the real colors start to show. And yes, it really does struggle. Here we go, back down to the digits, single digits. A lot of cars tended to struggle with this one. It was really, you know, lots of objects, lots of things to render. So all these tests are going to be done at 1024x768 if I can. If the games do struggle, I may have to drop them. We'll see how we go. So here we are with our final score of 4,242, which is even low for this card, to be honest. Looking at other tests online, people usually got 5,000 to 7,000. So yeah, or at least high 4,000s. Yeah, so I'm not sure, not good. Okay, let's go on to some CS. Now this was, you know, a typical game that you would play with this. It's a budget card, and CS was huge. Yeah, so good old DE Dust. Yeah, played this map many a times. Yeah, this is where a lot of firefights used to happen. Oh, speaking of which, oh, got taken out. Yeah, so we're running at 1024x768, 32-bit color, OpenGL renderer. So yeah, look, it's very comfortable. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. This card did come out quite a bit later. You know, CS is a 1999, 2000-ish sort of game. Let's try the tunnel. Oh, Mac 10. See if I can camp him out. Oh, there's quite a few of them. Oh man, I've only got 18 left in the mag. All right, this is gonna be quick. See you. The Mac 10 was actually pretty good. I used to like the Mac 10. You know, when you didn't have much money, if you got nice up and close and just unleashed a whole magazine to somebody, you'd get the job done. But from range, you're a dead man. All right, I can almost afford an AK. There we go. Oh my God, which one do I shoot? I don't know, there's so many. There we go, bomb has been planted. Now, oh my God, where did he come from? That's right, just stick your head out. Oh no! Do we have enough time? Oh, he's gonna defuse it, God damn it. Oh, he doesn't have a defuse kit. Oh no, he defused it. Yeah, those diffuse kits, we had one of those, it diffused it in half the time. Yeah, well look, it's safe to say this game plays very comfortably on this hardware. It is a much older game, Half-Life engine, and I'm sure a lot of people bought this card to play Counter-Strike. You know, this game was so popular, you know, people went out and bought computers just to play this game. It was one of those things, you know. There's games on consoles that, you know, people go and buy a console just to play a game, and this was the PC equivalent. CS was huge. Okay, enough of this one, we'll go to the next game. Okay, so let's do some Quake III Arena. I don't imagine this card giving this game any trouble either. This is an older game, same as CS. We'll kick it off with the time demo. Let's see how we fare. Yeah, look, it's looking pretty good so far. Yeah, look, this is a game from '99. This card came out 4 years later. Should handle it with a lot of comfort. So let's have a look, 80.9 frames per second. It's pretty damn good. Yeah, these frame rates look great already. Look at this, 91. Yeah, I think it seems to top out at 91 by the look of it. Yeah, look at that. It's just at 91, which is a very great frame rate. Nothing wrong with that. So 10247 68, 32-bit color. You know, your typical resolution. You'd have this running on your CRT. You'd be pretty happy with it. Pretty good detail, and then awesome frame rates. You'd probably bump this up even more just to get a nicer picture, really. Yeah, look, these frame rates are outstanding. Don't expect anything less. The Quake III engine was pretty efficient, and you know, it's really made for this fast action, which this card does it with complete ease. Yeah, look at that. And you know, this game is where you really do need these sorts of nice quick frame rates, because it's, you know, it's a quick fast action game where you quickly snap around and, you know, send rockets. Yeah, look, these games are pretty comfortable. They are much earlier, so you know, we'll move on to something a bit more closer to the era of when this video card was launched, to sort of see, you know, when you bought it, the games that you were playing, how you would have experienced them. Alright, so I'll shut this down. Alright, let's try some Return to Castle Wolfenstein. So this game was actually built on the Quake III engine, so I expect similar-ish performance, but it was released later. This game was released in the year 2001. Alright, so 50s. Oh yeah, those textures look so much nicer. Frame rate's taking a little bit of a hit, but that's fine. You know, still in very acceptable ranges here. You know, 60s, 70s, sometimes it drops down to the 50s, but otherwise, yeah, look at that. The lightning texture looks really good. But look, yeah, going up here, you know, anything in the 60s is always really good. Okay, let's have a look outside. Yeah, look, it's keeping its frame rate. It's looking good. Still in the 60s and 70s. Those textures look fantastic with the castle wall and the snow, don't they? Look at that. The sky looks a bit... Oh, hang on a second, that's not right. Why does the sky look like it's a cartoon? Oh, okay, that's not right. It should not look like that. It should not look like that at all. We've got a distance fog from my video here. Let me turn that to off. I don't know if that's has any effect, but we'll see. Yeah, that sky just does not, no effect. The sky does not look right. Wow. Okay. We'll continue on. That sky, I've never seen anything like that before, I must say. Tested a few different cards in my days, but yeah, look at that sunset and those clouds are terrible. It's interesting. I mean, the other textures are looking awesome. Look at that the dam over here. That looks great. The mountains, the castle, all good. But just the sky is really, yeah, otherwise all good. Really very acceptable frame rates. Lots of fun. All right, let's end this one and move on to our next one. Okay, so let's move forward a bit and go to 2003. This is when this card was released. So I'm going to play games that were all released in 2003. I mean, these are the type of games that you'd want to play if you bought this thing, right? So we'll start with Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. This was such a cool game. We really loved playing this with my friendship group. We loved playing multiplayer. It was really good. Yeah, when this game was released, me and all my friends had a copy of this, and yeah, we were all playing through the multiplayer. But we all played through the single player story. It was really cool. But you know, the multiplayer was so much fun as well. But yeah, look at these frame rates. It's struggling, isn't it? You know, running at 1024 by 768. Now, all my stuff I'm going to run is 1024 by 768. I think that's the resolution that this card was really sort of designed to probably play in more comfortably. You know, if you could afford a better card, you got better resolutions. Yeah, I like this, how you just go through the wall and leave marks. That was pretty cool. So yeah, LucasArts games. LucasArts before they got bought out by Disney. And yeah, we all know how that turned out. Yeah, so this is really cool. You used to throw your lightsaber and just come back to you. All right, how do I get through here? Yeah, we can't seem to crack 30, can we? It's always in that mid-20s. Here we go. Let me cut this tree. Haha, yes. All right, come over here, buddy. Make your way to the temple with Roche. Let's go, bud. I'm going to try and get him. Come on. Oh, yeah. Oh my God, how tough is this thing? Come on, I mean, I should have just cut his neck off, right? Yeah, pretty cool lighting effects when you get close to the wall. It glows the color of the lightsaber. The geometry is nothing too flashy, is it? It's fairly basic. So these frame rates, yeah. This was, you know, much more modified than the original Quake 3, I think. Because these frame rates are nothing like Quake 3. I'm sure a lot of people played this game on this card. You know, it's not terrible. You can play it. You still have the experience. Here we go, I'm dead. You still sort of got the experience, but not optimal. Yeah, I mean, look at the water texture. It's pretty, yeah, it's basic. It's just got two textures overlaid each other and animating, really. It's interesting. Like I said, the game doesn't, you know, it's not the most amazing good game, but performance-wise, it is very taxing. The game-wise, look, this was such a fun game, though. When it came out, we all played through the campaign and yeah, it's really cool. You know, you could go double lightsaber or you could go like the pole. Yeah, the frame rates are not the best with this card. Playable, you could play it, yes. But you might have dragged it down to 800 by 600 just to get a little bit more smoothness, because it is, yeah, not the best. Okay, also released in 2003, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. So this game is much more demanding than it looks. It was a little bit more shader heavy for its time. Yeah, look at the mouse is quite laggy when I try to shift it around. Do I dare change the graphics to 1024 by 768? I'm not sure. This is, you know what? Let's do it. I think 1024 768 on this game was much more for the faster cards, I think. You know what? Let's see how we go. Yeah. Oh, it's really struggling. It does look great. 1024 by 768. It definitely does look nicer, much more sharper edges. Not as blocky, but the gameplay, yeah, not very good. You know what? I'm going to change it back to 800 by 600 because I doubt anyone would play it at this resolution. It's just too difficult. Yeah, the frame rate has improved quite a bit. You know, to 20 frames is a bit more manageable, especially in a game like this where, you know, timing is very important. You really do want a decent frame rate to make it playable, otherwise it gets quite difficult. Oh my God, you know what, I'm struggling to, these camera angles, oh my God. Okay, yeah, come on, mate. I need to look the other way. Oh, what is he doing? Yeah, it's really jittery. It's just, oh my God, it's just jumping everywhere. Even at 800 by 600, this is just too much. Yeah, this is not a very nice experience at all. This is going to be very difficult to play. This is extreme. You know what? Let me put the resolution down further because this is really bad. How low can we go? 640 by 480. That's how low. That's how I look. Okay. Well, we've dropped the resolution, but I'm not sure if it did anything to the frame rate, to be honest. This was a bit of a console-y type game. I think this might have a frame cap of 30 anyway. But yeah, look, yeah, it's 30 is the frame cap. Oh, it's doing this. You know, I've had this happen on other ATI cards as well, where it just sort of snaps to certain frame rates. Look at it. It snaps to 20, then goes to 30. Yeah, weird. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, this is a real struggle. I'm not sure how much longer I can keep going with this game. Yeah, these graphics just feel like I'm playing on a TV on a console. They're really bad. It's weird that the frame rate's 30, but it doesn't feel like it's 30. It's just on. The responsiveness of the game is actually just really bad. That's what I think it is. When I move the mouse, when I click something, it just takes that half a second to actually respond, which feels like the frame rate is actually much lower than it's showing me on the screen. So that input lag is just terrible experience. Okay, look, I think that's enough for this game. This is really struggling. Even on this low resolution, it's not a very pleasant experience at all. All right, so there we have it. You know, if you got this card in this game in the year 2003, you wouldn't have been too pleased. Okay, still in 2003, Need for Speed Underground released. There we go. All right, so let's try 1024768 low details. See what happens, huh? Seems to really like that 30 number, doesn't it? It's almost locking onto it. 30 still good, still playable. Oh my god, these AI cars. Yeah, look at it. It seems to be sort of locking onto 30. This does. I'm pretty sure this game does have a frame cap, but it's not 30 frames. It should be 60. But this graphics card seems to love 30. It's just said I like 30. I'm staying here. Well, there's certain sections that, you know, tunnels that tend to usually go higher, but let's see how we go. It just seems to really lock itself onto 30 frames per second, and it's not going to budge from it. But you know, this is good. You'd be pretty happy with this. It's a budget card, 1024768, 30 frames is very much playable. Yeah, I've never seen a card be so precise in its frame rate. It is 230 and there's nothing you can do about it. All right, let's see in this tunnel. In this tunnel, it tends to jump usually, but no, not doing it. Staying at 30. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think that's a pretty comprehensive benchmark. 30 frames per second for Need for Speed Underground. I might try and change the resolution and see if we can crack that 30 frames per second. I'll give 800 by 600 a crack. Let's see how we go. Okay, yeah. All right, we're going to lock at 60 this time. No, are we? So we're going to go 60 frames per second. That's pretty good. So this is 800 by 600. A little bit more blocky. Okay, no, 30 frames per second it is. So yeah, you'd probably just run 1024 by 768, wouldn't you? Oh, here we go. It's just started to shoot. You know, I've had another graphics card do this to me, and I think it might have been an ATI as well, so I'm not sure what is going on with these drivers, and it would just bounce between 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second. It just loved those numbers. And it was during Max Payne, I remember. In Max Payne, it would just run at either 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second, so it would just boost up or drop down. Yeah, here we go. Look, so yep, shoots up to 60 now. And it really does feel so much nicer when it does. And then it goes back down to 30 and it feels just so bogged down and just in the tunnel it'll definitely should stick to 60. This tunnel is where it usually peaks. This is a really interesting phenomenon. Again, I've experienced this on another card before on another game, so I'm not sure what on earth is happening, but yeah, back up to 60 we go. Then 30. I've never seen anything. I don't know. I don't understand it. But this isn't my first rodeo. Would you have been happy playing this game if you just bought this card? I guess so. Look, I think it's acceptable. It's acceptable. Still in 2003, and it's Call of Duty. Now, this was a pretty well sold game, and I'm sure a lot of people with this card played this game. So let's have a look. Yeah, 60 frames per second. Oh, it's doing its old trick again. Look at this. Oh, wow. So 30 frames per second. And then decides, no, I'm going up to 60 now. And then cranks it back down to 30. Yeah, interesting behavior. As I say, it's not the first time I've seen this. Let's complete this obstacle course. 30 frames. Come on, boys, let's go. Oh, we'll drop down to 20 now. Oh, it really doesn't like rendering all these barbed wires, does it? It's struggling with it. If I go down here, okay, yeah, it's definitely the barbed wires. Yeah, look, this frame rate's pretty good. You know, you've played this game. I mean, it's unusual with the weird jumping around that it decides to do, but doesn't mean the game is not playable. So this game was also based on the Quake III engine, but it was heavily modified, which is interesting that it still does this weird frame jumping action. Yeah, the frame rate is starting to suffer a bit more now. We've got a lot more going on the screen. It really seems to be locked at 30. Again, I wonder if this is because of a bit of a console heritage that it may have. This card, you most likely would have played this game. This was, this was one of the best sellers. Everyone played this game, and I'm sure a lot of people played it with this card. 30 frames per second is acceptable. Not the best, but acceptable, especially considering that we are running at 1024 by 768. That is pretty good. The graphics look really good. A little bit of input lag, not as snappy as I'd like it to be. Some really nice set pieces. Look at these parachuters in and anti-aircraft guns going. Very cool. And it really started off the whole World War II multiplayer thing as well. I think it inspired Day of Defeat, which was a Half-Life 2 mod. That and CS were probably some of the most played games online. Day of Defeat was a lot of fun. Look, the card does play it. Can't be too harsh on it. Okay, we can't finish this video without giving Far Cry a crack, can we? Let's have a look. So it's on the lower end. You know what? Let's go medium, huh? Let's go medium. We'll give it a chance. Oh, okay, it's not looking good already. You know, look, we're in the indoor environment and it's already 25 frames per second. As soon as I step out that door, I expect carnage on this frame rate. Oh, even that door is opening in slow motion. Oh, here we go. Teens, just. Graphics look good, but that frame rate is absolutely horrid. Got a lot of input lag as well. Yeah, all right, let's get into a firefight and see what happens. See if I can actually shoot somebody. If they stay still, I can. Got them both somehow. There we go. Spray and pray. Yeah, this is really struggling. Oh, here we go. Someone else. This struggle street. I'll come over here. This is a very beautiful area where you see all the reflections of the island across from the water. Look, you know what? Even in medium details, this looks amazing. Really nice. Frame rates are struggling. You probably wouldn't play it at this because it's just too difficult. You'd struggle to finish the game with this sort of frame rate. Look, I think it's in this case, it's a bit of a pick your own poison. What do you want to do? Resolution, detail, and you just try and find a balance between resolution and detail level to find that balance of what looks nice enough, but also is playable enough so you can actually enjoy the game. Thank you for sticking with me this long. Look, in the end, the 9200 SC did what it's expected of it. You know, it's a budget card for really entry level to allow people to play games. So, you know, for the earlier games like the Counter-Strike, Return to Castle Wolfenstein was fine. But as soon as we, you know, bring it up to 2003, then it really did start to struggle to keep up with those frame rates. And you would have to drop those detail levels quite a bit to, you know, make it a playable game. So it was never really meant to be a powerhouse, but designed to allow you to play games, you know. Dad, mum would buy you a computer, or a computer for the home, rather, back in those days. And, you know, they wouldn't go out and try and buy a super duper expensive gaming machine. They just wanted a computer for the family. And you know what? You'd probably end up with one of these. But yeah, as a kid, you still got to play games and, you know, it rendered graphics. So yeah, that's what it did. Yeah, so tell me in the comments, did you have one of these? What was your experience? I'd love to hear about it. If you really enjoy my content and like to get early access, look at behind the scenes, do some polls, tell me about what video you'd like next, you can join my Patreon. The link is in the description. Going back to my particular version of this card that I got, it did have some issues. I was really surprised actually. I expected smooth sailing, but yeah, the DVI port just would not work. Apart from that, you know, once I plugged into the VGA and got the right drivers on, it all seemed to be pretty smooth sailing. So not sure. I'll be interested again to see what you guys think of that. This one might fare better. Don't know, but it'll be interesting to see, you know, was there much of a difference, you know, going between 64 meg and 128 meg? Was it worth the upgrade? Don't know, maybe something for a future video. But there were quite a lot of variations. You know, these cards, they varied in memory. They tended to stick with a 64-bit bus. I don't think I've seen one that's got a 128-bit bus. I think that would probably make a big difference. But, you know, there's always variations and different clock speeds, and, you know, all these different manufacturers did their own little things to their own cards. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Really had a lot of fun making it. Love chatting with you guys, seeing the comments, and just general interaction. It's been fantastic. So thank you again. Hope to see you in the next one.